But I think the biggest difficulty I have, I think that everybody has, is just trying to work out exactly what your audience actually need.
Mm,
Because you can even if you survey them and you ask them loads of questions and you think you have a really good, strong understanding of what it is they want, you can
yeah.
make the thing and then like nobody really wants it.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
true.
it's so difficult. Like how would you sort of work out exactly what your audience want? Because you're very good at sending offers and kind of pitching your audience and kind of giving them calls to action. I notice that with your publication a lot. How do you try and work out what your audience actually are looking for from you?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in the first place, it's always, kind of, so my background is a little bit in this in this business startup where you always say like, okay, if it solves your pain point, that's not enough. You kind of always want to validate it with lots of others. And it's true, but what I really learned to do more is trust my own
Mm,
intuition, because usually what I learned now in my writing journey is if it solves a pain point for me, or even if it's just a thought that I have, a lot of other people can relate.
mm,
And so what I do is I start with my, initial gut feeling. I start creating something around that. And of course, I get feedback from people who say like, hey, this might be useful. Sometimes I ask in direct chat, sometimes I ask in my group chat if people actually do think that something like this would be helpful. It's always a very different story if people think it's helpful and then they would actually pay money for it. I mean, that's of course like a thesis you need to confirm or not. But yeah, I start with my own pain points, and then I interact with my readers.
mm. Yep, great way to go. Sort of reverse engineering it a little bit.
Yeah, what about you? How do you do it?
Yeah, so it's kind of similar. Yeah, I try to think of struggles that I've had, and I always try and listen out for signals. So if I ask questions on notes or in community chat, that sort of thing, I always try to look out for correlations with pain points. So if a few people say they're struggling with something in particular, then I'll maybe try and address that in some way through an article or a webinar, or creating a product. Like I'm doing a webinar tomorrow, which is basically just about the absolute basics of Substack, like how to set up a publication and how to create an article, that sort of stuff. Because you kind of think people have a handle on that, but some of them just don't, and they're just not really sure. They're just starting out, they've just arrived at the platform, they want to get going, but they don't know how to do it.
Yeah,
And that kind of really, really basic information is what they need.
yeah,
So I'm doing like a 30-40 minute webinar tomorrow, walking people through how to do like six basic things about Substack. And it's just kind
cool.
of taking it from there and trying to see then how do people respond to that kind of thing? What are the kind of pain points come out of that? And then can I turn this maybe into like a more of a product that I can maybe sell alongside other things then as well, or make it part of my paid tier
Mm.
potentially. But yeah, it's all just kind of it's very, very fluid. I've kind of found like I at one point I tried to plan out this year, like from start to finish, and
Mhm.
I started to do it, and then I was like, it's just there's just no point because it's going to change
Yeah,
as it go along.
yeah,
So now I
totally.
plan the first like th I plan 3 months at a time now instead, and try and set targets for that.